Welcome to another live stream of Roll Up a Power. So get your blunts rolled and your drink poured. Tap in, tap the fuck in. We here on today, Mr. Roll Up. Well, guess what? We gonna talk about the boy Lil Scrappy. How about that? Tap in, tap the fuck in. What Lil Scrappy do, Mr. Roll Up? Hey, he tried to get tough with your boy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't having it. How about that? Tap in, tap the fuck in. This shit date back 20 plus years ago. You know what I'm saying? This ain't nothing new. Told y'all, Mr. Roll Up, be on that. How about that? Tap in, tap the fuck in. Now, this ain't no beef or nothing like that, no dissing. I'm just giving y'all a rundown on the altercation I had with Dog, you know what I'm saying, back in the day type shit, and how things transpired over the years, you know what I'm saying? Tap in, tap the fuck in. Now, I know some of y'all that have been around for a while, y'all probably like, you did a video about this. Well, I ain't went live about it, you know what I'm saying? Tap in, tap the fuck in. Y'all got to understand that it's two different audiences. You know what I'm saying? It's an audience for a live. It's an audience for your videos. How about that? Tap in, tap the fuck in. So we gonna start this shit from the top, how it happened, and we gonna close it out with the ending. How about that? Tap in, tap the fuck in. All right, let's get it. So I know I started this. I know I scheduled this live late. I scheduled it 30 minutes before I started it type shit. You know, usually I schedule it for like the night before, things like that. But listen, right? I was blowed as hell last night. I straight passed out. Look, I literally was setting this shit up on my live, to schedule it. Man, I passed out. I was fried. How about that? All right. So when I got up, I went to look at my screen and shit to see, make sure it was still set up and everything. I ain't even get to finish setting this shit up. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I came so late with the flow. Y'all ass be tweaking, bro. Tap in, tap the fuck in. All right. So just go back to the early 2000s. Let's jump in that time capsule. You know what I'm saying? Now, this was back in the time when artists like Nelly, Luda, um, who else was popping? Shit. It was a lot of motherfuckers popping at this time. Lil Jon, the East Side Boys, the Kings of Crunk, Trick Daddy, Outkast. You know what I'm saying? This was that era when all of that shit was popping, right? Like that was a whole different era. Like it was a whole lot of shit popping off right then at that time. Like I said, early 2000s, right? So anyway, uh, you had a guy like Lil Scrappy. You know what I'm saying? Lil Scrappy came out at that time, right? Lil Scrappy was hot. Lil Jon was backing him and everything. You know what I'm saying? So bro was doing this thing, right? He had a couple of singles that was hitting and shit, right? So he buzzing through the streets. Scrappy was like the new thing at the time, right? So with that being said, it was another crew that came out with him called Trillville, right? Trillville had a hot single too. The deal was neither side, Lil Scrappy side and Trillville side, they like couldn't make an album on their own, right? They could make singles, but they couldn't make a whole album. You know what I'm saying? They just didn't have enough hits to make an album with, I guess, right? So they merged them together. The record label that they was under, what's it called, BME? You know what I'm saying? They merged Trillville and Lil Scrappy together. right? So when Trillville and Lil Scrappy dropped their first album, you had half a Trillville and half a Lil Scrappy, right? It might have been like 15 tracks on there. So, like I said, they had it split. So it was probably like, half of it was Scrappy, half of it was Trillville, right? So they might have had 7 songs apiece or some shit like that. That's all they was good for, with some shit like that, like 6 or 7 tracks. You know what I'm saying? And then them 6 or 7 tracks was ass too. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they just had 1 or 2 hits and the rest of their shit was garbage. But anyway, the hits that they came out with at that time, I can't remember exactly what it was. Y'all know I ain't no reporter. I don't do all that researching. I just freestyle, right? I can't remember the exact hits that they had at that time. But Trillville and Lil Scrappy, they had hits that was banging. And like I said, they record label collab their album together, and boom, you got Trillville, Lil Scrappy, right? Well, anyway, when that came out, everybody was on it. Niggas like, what? Oh, this shit about to hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people was anticipating on that album, right? Long story short, people was anticipating. The streets was talking, everybody was on it. You know what I'm saying? Especially for Lil Scrappy side, because like I said, Lil Scrappy came out, hitting, and people was on that shit, right? Well, before I can go there with the album, right? Let me tell y'all how I even obtained the album in the first place, right? So I might have been like 14, 15, some shit like that around the time when this album came out, right? Now, I told y'all before, when I was in my younger days, when I was like 11, 12, something like that, I used to steal CDs out of this Kmart that was right behind my middle school called Tav Middle School, right? It was literally a Kmart right behind my school, right? And I told you I used to skip school. I go up there, steal CDs and shit. You know what I'm saying? We'd take the CD cases into the bathroom with us. um, the bathroom and like the layaway was like in the same department, right? So like what we'd do is we'd grab like 10 CDs, 5 to 10 CDs at a time, all the shit that we want, right? And it got like that band that they have around it, like anti-theft type shit or whatever. Something like you can't just stuff in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? It's a big ass piece of plastic around it. You can't just stuff that shit in your pocket. Like how people still throw this shit in their pocket, shit like that. The big ass plastic pieces just be hanging out your pants or, hanging off your shirt. Like they'll see it if you try and tuck that shit with that big ass piece of plastic on it, right? But anyway, we'd grab like 5 to 10 CDs and we'd walk to the back where the layaway at, acting like we about to take that shit to layaway. You know what I'm saying? The layaway was like to the left and the bathroom was to the right. You know what I'm saying? And like it's like a little wall like right there or whatever. So all the cameras that's, in the Kmart watching everything, it ain't no cameras in that layaway department. So like when you clear that wall right there where the layaway, in between the layaway and the open field of the Kmart, it ain't no cameras. It ain't no cameras in that layaway. You know what I'm saying? Basically, like the people that worked there was supposed to catch what was going on when you step into that layaway zone. You know what I'm saying? But the people in the layaway, they was busy as hell with the customers, putting shit in the layaway. So they really couldn't catch people, like stealing shit and trying to go in the bathroom with it. They was busy they damn selves, but that's what it was, right? So anyway, me and my boys, we'd go in there, we'd be stealing CDs, and we'd take them into that bathroom. And I could talk about this, that Kmart good and gone. That shit was over 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I could talk about this shit, whatever. But anyway, we'd take them CDs into the bathroom, right? Like I said, we act like we going to the layaway and instantly shoot to the right to the bathroom, right? Take them bitches in the bathroom. we always come with a knife, right? Because we knew that plastic was around the CD case thing, right? So we'd come with a knife and we'd cut the plastic off of all of them CD things, right? So we cut the plastic off. Hold on. No, that ain't it. So anyway, we cut the plastic off the CDs, right? After we do that, we open the CD case open, you know what I'm saying? Take the actual CD out the damn CD case and stuff the CDs in our pocket. You know what I'm saying? Because even so, the actual CD case have barcodes on it. So like if you try to like walk out the store and didn't get it scanned, that barcode will go off and the alarm will go off. So we wouldn't even take the case. We'd just take the CDs and we'd just throw the cases of it or whatever in the toilet. You know what I'm saying? It'd be 5 or 6 CD cases all thrown in the toilet. You know what I'm saying? That was the type of shit we'd do. Stuff the CDs in our pants and our pockets, whatever. Mob out that bitch. We have 5 new CDs just like that. 10 new CDs just like that. You know what I'm saying? We was hitting their ass, right? We probably part of the reason why they closed up, low key, But anyway, that was just some young nigga shit, some shit we did when we was kids, right? So anyway, with that being said, this is how I obtained that little Scrappy CD. I still was using that tactic that I was using back in middle school. You know what I'm saying? That shit carried on into my high school years, early high school years. I wasn't doing that my whole high school term or none of that. It was just early high school days, right? And this is when the little Scrappy Trillville shit came out, right? So I mobbed up there to that motherfucking Kmart, right? And stole that motherfucking album, straight up. The album was like $15-something at the time, right? I'm like, man, I'm not paying that shit. I'm stealing this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not paying it. So I stole it. Boom. I got it. I go to the crib. I get to listening to it and all that shit, right? I'm like, man, this shit suck. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, the only songs on here that's hype is the damn singles that's being put out on the radio, the videos, you know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that was hot on that whole album. The Trillville, Lil Scrappy, the whole album. The only songs was hot was the songs that was on the radio and the music videos. All of the other songs that was on the album sucked. They was garbage, right? And anybody can tell you this, all of them songs was whack as hell, right? So that album flopped real quick, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody was sick because the whole hood was anticipating on this album. You know what I'm saying? Like Scrappy was like the Pooh Shiesty back then. I'm not trying to compare them. I'm just giving you a visual. Like that's how Scrappy was back then. He was a young street nigga on that street shit. Whoopty whoop. He was hot. You know what I'm saying? So the streets was ready for it. Like, yeah, this shit about to, be hard or whatever. You know what I'm saying? People wasn't even really tripping on the Trillville side because Trillville was like kind of like singing, freaky singing type shit. It was Scrappy that was coming with the hood shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what everybody was anticipating on. Like, hold on, Scrappy shit got to be cold, I was the first one in the hood with that CD. Cause like I said, I stole it. I went and grabbed that bitch quick, right? Shit was ass. I passed that shit around to everybody. Let everybody listen to it. They like, yeah, fuck that. Glad ain't nobody buy it. Whoopty whoop, right? So okay, that was it. The little Scrappy Trillville shit was bogus, right? Okay, so keep it moving, right? This might have been a couple of weeks later or something like that, right? Me and my boys, we used to catch the bus to this mall called Northland Mall. Northland Mall was the West Side Mall. Like all the West Side niggas went to Northland. We had Northland and Fairlane. Fairlane was like the alternative for Northland. Like if Northland was dead, or some shit like that, we'd go to Fairlane because Fairlane was always popping. But Northland was the West Side Mall. That's just where everybody from the West Side be at. Everybody be at Northland from the West Side. All the East Side niggas went to Eastland Mall. All the East Side niggas went to Eastland Mall. All the West Side niggas went to Northland. You know what I'm saying? Me and my boys, we'd catch the bus to Northland every weekend, right? Every weekend. Mind you, we 14, 15 years old. We don't got nothing to do. So what we'd do, we'd just catch the bus to the mall and, meet other people up there we know, we go to school with, shit like that. That was just like our hangout spot. You know what I'm saying? And of course, all the girls was up there. So we be up there getting numbers, bumping into people we know, laughing, joking, walking around, going to the food court, getting the Chinese food for the $10. Everybody know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a good time for us. Northland was our spot. We'll always be at Northland every weekend. Shit, sometimes we'd be at Northland like half the day. And then like later on that night, we'd catch the bus from Northland Mall to Fairlane Mall. Fairlane Mall had a movie theater in there. You know what I'm saying? The AMC, right? So what we'd do is we'd be mobbing around the mall, getting numbers, shit like that, bumping into our people. And then when it come to nighttime, we'd go to the movie theater and watch a movie. You know what I'm saying? The movie would probably be like $10 or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We'd tell the girls to come with us. Like, we bump into a girl while we walking around in the mall, get her number, shit like that. We like, hey, you want to go to the movies with us? You know what I'm saying? We pay for it, whoopty whoop, And girls go to the movies with us. We all be in the movies, watching the movie, feel you, touch you, rub you, all of that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Exchange numbers, have a good night. That was the type of shit we did, right? But that's Fairlane Mall. Like I said, that was more the at night type thing. Northland Mall was the daytime type thing, right? So this was one of them weekends we caught the bus to Northland Mall, right? It was me, my homie Face, I done told y'all about multiple times, the one that introduced me into smoking the weed, you know what I'm saying? It was me, him, and my little homie Dre, that's dead and gone now. Rest in peace to my boy, He the one I told y'all got killed by the undercover cops, you know what I'm saying? He was trying to pull a robbery and he pulled it on the wrong one, undercover cop, and the undercover cop killed, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know I don't play with the dead, so this ain't no made up shit, no trying to be funny, not trying to get no views, none of that shit. This is real shit, right? So it's me, Face, and Dre. We caught the bus to Northland Mall, right? You already know what we on. We up there to get numbers, you know what I'm saying? Bumping the people we know type shit, right? So when we get up there, we walking around. We ain't bumping to nobody. It was kind of dead, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So we just walking around this bitch like, damn, we caught the bus up here for nothing. This bitch dead. Like, fuck it. Like, man, we about to go shoot the Fairlane or some shit, right? So this is what we politicking on while we walking around the mall, right? Next thing you know, we mobbing around that bitch. Cause Northland was just a big ass circle. Northland didn't have like second floor, third floor, none of that. It was all one floor. It was just like a big ass circle with a whole bunch of stores in it, right? So we just mobbing around the circle, right? With that being said, some little boy ran up on us out of nowhere. Never seen this little boy before. My niggas didn't know the little boy, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like the little boy just came out of nowhere, ran right up on us, right? And he started like walking amongst our crowd. The little boy probably like 19 years old. We like 14, 15. You know what I'm saying? Mark Jackson, yes sir, tap in, tap the fuck in. This is what we did. But anyway, the little boy mobbing with us, you know what I'm saying? We all looking at each other like, who the fuck is this little nigga? You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, he like, hey man, little Scrappy in here, We like, okay, so what? You know what I'm saying? Now look, right? We wasn't never the type of niggas that get starstruck. You know what I'm saying? Like real shit. We didn't care what celebrities was in town. or none of that shit. We didn't give a fuck. We never was no starstruck type of motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And that go for most niggas across Detroit, like real shit, right? And they go for most men, period. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just speaking on some Detroit shit, right? We don't be starstruck. You know what I'm saying? Like we got too many artists from the city that's like hood celebrities. You know what I'm saying? Like the Street Lords, the Cheddar Boys. You know what I'm saying? The KDZs, the little Mike, shit. We had so many fucking artists. You know what I'm saying? All over the D12s. You know what I'm saying? Before they blew up and got with Eminem and all of that shit. Seven in general. You know what I'm saying? Like plenty hood celebrities, you know what I'm saying, that we see all the time in the streets. And these niggas is regular niggas like us. They got on the big ass chains, you know what I'm saying, the big buff Cartier glasses, the Rolex watches, you know what I'm saying? Some of them pulling up in Ferraris and shit. Like, we been seeing this shit, you know? And like I said, these the same niggas that's making songs with these big celebrities and shit like that, and they in the hood with us, you know. So we wasn't the type of motherfuckers to be starstruck. It was like because we seen hood celebrities all the time, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, when the little boy was telling us, little Scrappy was in the mall, we like, you know what? Okay, and so what? Type shit, right? He like, man, come on, y'all gotta meet him, bro. Woo, woo. Like, man, ain't nobody trying to meet little Scrappy. We laughing, telling the little nigga go ahead and shit, right? This nigga, he was adamant about us going to meet Lil Scrappy. Not nobody else in the mall, nothing. It was just me and my boys. He wanted us to go meet Lil Scrappy so bad, right? So I looked at my homies. I'm like, man, what y'all trying to do? This bitch dead, ain't nothing going on. This nigga said Lil Scrappy in there. What y'all trying to do? Y'all trying to roll up on him or what? I like, come on, we can do that shit, woody woo, right? So little boy get happy as hell. He like, y'all come follow me, woo woo, right? So it's like a Foot Locker. It was a Foot Locker in that mall. And the Foot Locker had an opening entrance on one end and it had an opening entrance on the other end. And like I said, Northland was just a one level floor. It just had a bunch of shit in it, right? So with the Foot Locker, you can go in and out from one side of the mall and it'll shoot you to the other side of the mall. And right in between it is the Foot Locker. So you walk this way, be on this side of the mall, be on that side of the mall. And Foot Locker was like the subway, to the other side of the mall type shit, right? So we cut across the Foot Locker. Now we on the other side of the mall, right? The side that we was on, it had like a little studio session. Like everybody remember, it was like a little studio box in that motherfucker, right? And like if you could rap and shit or sing or whatever, you step in the booth, go ahead and spit your bars. It's a microphone, all of that shit in there. You know what I'm saying? And if your shit hot, they might play your shit on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Like type shit. So it was a lot of people, going into that booth, doing that shit. The Jeepers Creepers was over there, the food court, all of that shit. That's the one side of the mall that we was on. Now the other side of the mall where Lil Scrappy was at was like the middle of the mall jury. And the middle of the mall jury had his own side. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. How about that? So anyway, when we walking across the Foot Locker to go to the other side of the mall, on the side where the jury at, the little boy was telling us like, yeah, he over here, whoopty whoop. So we laughing like, what? This nigga in here looking at this fake jury, you know what I'm saying? The middle of the mall type shit. Little boy like, yeah, he over here. We like, ah, man, this nigga lying and shit. All on TV with the big ass crunk chains and all that shit. Like that nigga lying, you know what I'm saying? So we walk up. Sure enough, it was him at one of them little booths in the middle of the mall looking at the jury, right? We walking up like, man, ain't no way, dog. Like, at the time, Scrappy was the hottest thing out, like, for real. So, like I said, that's like for today's kids. Like that's like y'all seeing Pooh Shiesty in the middle of the mall looking at fake jewelry. That's how it was with Lil Scrappy back then, right? So we walking up. I'm like, damn, this nigga really looking at fake jewelry. But all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when we get up there to him and shit, he called himself signing autographs and shit, right? He still focused on the jury, but he like signing autographs. Like he had two big ass security guards with him, right? These niggas just passed the security guards passing him like, you know, a little piece of paper and shit, and he just writing his signature on them and handing them out type shit, right? So it was a nigga in front of me, got his signature, boom. Came up to me, right? He ain't even looking at me or nothing. He just, like I said, writing his name on the paper and shit like that, right? Well, why you doing that? I'm like, hey man, you owe me $15. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling Lil Scrappy this to his face, you know? He like, what? Like, you know, still scribbling on the paper and shit. I'm like, man, you owe me $15. You know what I'm saying? The nigga like bagged off the table, you know, like put the pencil down, the pen down, all that shit. He like, what? By this time, my man's then hopped up. He like, my man's face, you know what I'm saying? He was like, nigga, he said you owe him $15, nigga. By this time, his security guard stepped in, you know what I'm saying? Because by this time, me and my boy, we putting our pants up, we getting ready, you know what I'm saying? Because we already knew what time it was, right? Soon as his security guards peeped it, they jumped right in front of us. And mind you, we little niggas. We 14, 15. He got grown ass security guards. Like these niggas diesel as hell. They gotta be in their mid to late 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like we couldn't do shit with them, you know. So it was like we had to hold that ill, you know, but if they guards wasn't there, bro, I would have been the original world star. You know what I'm saying? Like real shit. I would have knocked that nigga out straight up. But his guards was on it, right? What's the deal? Tap in, tap the fuck in. I can't really pronounce your name. I'm gonna say Kwani Sama, 5247. That how you say it? Tap in. All right. So like I said, his guards jumped in. The shit was over with. His guards like, hey, you know, y'all just, you know, let it go. It's over with, right? Type shit. So we like, all right. I told him, I was like, I catch you. You know what I'm saying? We look each other eye to eye. You know what I'm saying? Okay, for sure. I said it right. Bet. My nigga. Nah. So, you know, I'm telling Scrappy at this point, you know, his guards in front of us and shit, you know, and he behind the guards, right? But he's still looking at me. You know what I'm saying? So I tell him, I'm like, I'm gonna get with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna catch you. He like, nigga, you know what's up, woo, 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 nigga, Prince of the South, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. He rah-rah, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like how he was. He was rah-rah as hell back then, you know? I'm like, okay. Like, let that nigga be in the city long enough. I'm gonna catch you. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. He did what he did. He got the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? He was torn, you know what I'm saying? Making money, doing videos, and then he flopped. You know what I'm saying? But at that time when he first came out, he was swinging hard. You know what I'm saying? He got knocked out. You know, like I said, he couldn't keep up. He could make singles, you know what I'm saying? But he just couldn't like make albums and shit. You know what I'm saying? So he flopped hard. You know what I'm saying? It was fucked up, but that's what it was. He flopped. So anyway, in between that time, he flopped, right? Okay. Some years later, Love and Hip Hop come out, right? He started doing the Love and Hip Hop, you know, to try and, you know, get his name back or whatever, you know. But it was like, okay, that was working for him, but musically, music wasn't working for him, right? I'm not trying to diss him or nothing. I'm just saying this is what happened, right? So, some years after that, I go to prison, right? All of this timing that's going by, I'm growing up, I'm maturing, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking differently, I'm moving differently, you know what I'm saying? It comes with aging, right? So I'm not on that same stuff I was on at 14, 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? Now I didn't went to prison. I didn't had to grow up some in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? All that shit, right? I get out of prison. I start a life. You know what I'm saying? I had kids. You know, I started becoming my own boss. Like everything changed over time, right? So here it is, 20 years later, after the situation that happened with Scrappy. Here it is, 20 years later. Whole life then transition, everything then changed. You know what I'm saying? This is 2023, right? I was in that red Alfa Romeo I had at that time, right? This was right before I started this channel. This was probably like literally like a year before I started this channel, right? So I'm in the Alfa Romeo, right? Cruising around the city and shit. 2023. So like I said, this is like anywhere from like 18 to 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? Since the first time I got into a little scrappy. And I was on that tip, like, yeah, nigga, I catch you, it's on, you know? Because like, I'm gonna say like that. I know it's a little derailment, but just ride with it, right? Like, we knew when rappers came to Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime a rapper was coming here to the city, we knew about it. All the street niggas knew about it. You know what I'm saying? Even if they try and be low key, you know, try and dip in, dip out, we knew that they was here, right? Sometimes we might find out late or whatever, but we always find out if a motherfucker here. You know what I'm saying? So basically, like Lil Scrappy snuck in the city at that time, right? And he knew to hit Northland Mall on this day or whatever because, like I said, it was dead. You know what I'm saying? Usually that bitch be slamming. You know what I'm saying? But it was dead, and he was there. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, you know, he knew what to do. He knew how to move. You know what I'm saying? And I caught him. So of course I alert everybody like, hey, that nigga here in the city. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. And he got the fuck on, cause that's how Detroit move. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. As soon as a motherfucker put the word out, now people like, oh, straight up dog here. You know what I'm saying? And not for necessarily anybody's, you know, situation that they had with the rapper. It's just the fact that nigga here. So okay, we on his ass. You know what I'm saying? Niggas about to get the story and shit, all type of shit. That's just how it be in the D. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, he came and he did. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew what time it was. I looked him dead in his face, told him, I'm gonna get with you. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. And we young niggas, you know. So anyway, like I said, my whole thought, my whole process of thinking, everything about me changed over the time, right? So I ain't on none of that bullshit no more. My life then changed for the better. You know what I'm saying? Then grew up all type of shit, right? So here it is, 2023, right? I'm in the Alfa Romeo, right? It's a strip in Detroit on the west side, right? It's Livernois Ave, one of the most dangerous areas on the west side of Detroit, right? Livernois Avenue from fucking West Warren all the way down to 6 Mile. You know what I'm saying? Livernois, that whole Livernois strip is one of the most deadliest areas on the west side, right? But when you get to 7 Mile in Livernois, it changed. You know what I'm saying? It ain't hood and, you know, violent or none of that shit. When you get to 7 Mile Livernois, all the way to 8 Mile Livernois, that's a whole different community as opposed to the rest of Livernois from 6 Mile all the way back to Warren. Like, them like two different Livernois. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, in between 7 Mile and 8 Mile on Livernois, right? It's all a black owned community, right? KDP Writer, what's the deal? Tap in, tap the fuck in. All right. So what I'm talking about in that strip is all black owned businesses, right? All type of shit. hair salons, barbershop, restaurants, clothing stores, whatever you can name. It's all in that strip, and it's all black owned. So you see a bunch of successful black people right there in that strip all day, every day, right? So I come riding down that strip. You know what I'm saying? In that strip, it's a restaurant called Cuzzo's, right? Hold on. Y'all ass tweaking, bro. I got another wood. Hold on. Y'all ass be tweaking, bro. What y'all thought this was? Y'all thought Mr. Roller be perfect? I do this shit. Y'all ass be tweaking, bro. And y'all see I smoke by my damn self. I don't smoke with 3-4 niggas. Hey, bro, pass me that wood. Never. Y'all ass be tweaking, bro. Hold on. Cause now it's about to get real. Y'all ass tweaking, bro. So listen, right? I'm riding down that strip, Alfa Romeo. You know what I'm saying? Feeling good. In Detroit, niggas ain't even hip to Alfa Romeos at that time, right? Niggas wasn't even really hip to them motherfuckers, right? I'm like one of the first niggas in the city riding that bitch. Like, don't get it twisted. Motherfuckers didn't have them. I'm just saying, like, I'm one of the first ones that had it at that time. So, of course, I'm feeling good riding down the Livernois Strip. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, I look up. It's a restaurant in that strip called Cuzzo's. Cuzzo's is like a well-known chicken shack, right? And like a lot of people be in and out that bitch, right? So I'm riding past the Cuzzo's and the door open. I don't know why it caught my attention, right? But the door was open, right? I'm looking through the door, you know, while I'm riding past. First nigga come out that bitch is Lil Scrappy. Mind you, this is 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? Lil Scrappy come walking out that Cuzzo's while I'm riding past the Livernois Strip, right? I'm looking at him like, is that him? You know, mind you, you change, pick up weight, shit like that, right? He wasn't the same skinny guy he was, 20 years ago. He didn't pick up some weight. I didn't pick up some weight, So it's like, I could look at him and tell it's him, but he look a lot different. So I'm looking at him. I done slowed the car down and everything. You know what I'm saying? Riding past looking at him. By this time, he looking at me. He looking at me through my windshield. I'm looking at him through the windshield, right? While the car like riding past. He was locked in on me the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Not the car, not the surrounding, nothing. It was me. Like his eyes locked in mine. Like we had that same stare off we did 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? When his security guards jumped in front of us, right? Not this time, just on the street, immediately right after that, like 4-5 niggas came out that bitch right behind him, right? The whole time I'm riding past, he looking at me, I'm looking at him. You know what I'm saying? And we just gave each other this look, like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember that shit, Like, we had that look, real shit, right? And the whole time just rolled past, and he was just looking at me, and I was looking at him, and like, it was like the body language. You know what I'm saying? We talked to each other through the body language. You know what I'm saying? I kept it moving. That was it, But my whole point of even creating this, video live and everything about it was the fact that I ran into him 20 years later, riding past in the car. You know what I'm saying? And he knew it was me, just like I knew it was him. You know what I'm saying? and our body language spoke for that. If I would have never ran into him, I wouldn't even say nothing about this shit. You know what I'm saying? It would have just, okay, me and him got into it, when we was younger, that's what it was. But I'm only mentioning this because, like I said, I bumped into him 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? And we locked, and it was like, yeah, nigga, I remember that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we exchanged it. And that's what I was saying. Like, over my time, how much I grown, and over his time, what he done did, where he done been, he done been torn, made millions of dollars, been around all type of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't live a life. But he still remember who Mr. Roll Up was. You know what I'm saying? How about that? So that was just crazy as hell how that happened. And that was some true shit. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe one day me and him could sit down and talk, do an interview or something. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about this shit. Like I said, I don't come on here lying about nothing. So maybe one day me and him can get together, do an interview, talk about the shit, whatever, laugh it off, keep it moving. The whole thing is that a lot of celebrities be thinking that people starstruck and they just gonna go. Like I said, I come from a cut island. You know what I'm saying? We around hood celebrities all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that shit don't bother us. It's, hey, nigga, your album bogus is bogus. You know what I'm saying? We not about to kiss your ass and all that. Like, nigga, nah. That shit garbage, it was garbage. Not only that, I need $15 for it. You know what I'm saying? Even though I didn't pay for it, I stole it. But guess what? I need $15 for that shit. That's just what it was. You know what I'm saying? Some funny shit. So like I said, hopefully one day, me and him get together. We could do a video about this shit. Do an interview. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about that shit and he'll tell you just what I said is the truth. Like, real talk. It was up there when we was young. You know what I'm saying? It was up there. Straight up. I did not give a fuck that he was blowing up. I didn't care about that shit. I wanted that $15 that I didn't even pay for. You know what I'm saying? That was the type of time I was on. But yeah, that was just some young shit. It was funny, man. And maybe I probably stood out to him because of how I came. You know what I'm saying? He probably like, damn, that was some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, when you hot and all of that, everybody that come past you just going to be dick sucking. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody going to tell you the real. It's very rare that you get somebody that just come to a celebrity and tell them like, hey, that shit garbage. Nowadays, a lot of people doing that, for skits to be funny and shit like that. But I'm talking about like genuinely, telling the artist like, hey, that shit garbage. You know what I'm saying? Flat out. A nigga can't do nothing but respect it. Especially when you a real nigga. And Scrappy really came from the hood. He really one of them. So when I said what I said, it triggered him like, damn, hold on. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he was the hottest shit out. So everybody was kissing his ass and, now Mr. Roll Up, that shit trash. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my boy Lil Dre was there. I don't lie on the dead, I don't even play with the dead. I don't do that. So if I mention the dead, it's 100% true. You know what I'm saying? Flat the fuck out. Yeah, that was some wild shit. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end this shit. I just wanted to, give y'all the live version of this. Like I said, it's two different audiences. I know I did the video on this a year ago. It's not what lives and videos is about. They two different columns. You know what I'm saying? Two different audiences. So I had to give y'all the live version of it. You know what I'm saying? How about that? Lil Scrappy and Mr. Roll Up was about to bang. but the guard stopped it. How about that? And now years later, we bump into each other and we still recognize each other and we hit each other with that body language. You know, it wasn't nothing disrespectful or nothing. It was just, yeah, I remember that. You know what I'm saying? That was the type of body language we gave each other. Like, yeah, I remember that, you know? And like I said, it wasn't nothing disrespectful. I ain't spend a block on them, you know, and none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I just kept it moving. You know, he kept it moving. That's just life, you know? But it was just really weird how that happened like that. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't even know he was in the city. You know what I'm saying? Like he just slid in the city, you know, and he was over there in the, you know, the rich black community area of the west side of Detroit. He was over there and I was over there too. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, guy working mysterious ways, you know? So I just got mad respect for him, you know. Like I said, he wasn't on no tipping, you know, trying to tell his boys, like, oh, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't on that. The body language was straight respectful. It was just, yeah, I remember that. You know what I'm saying? Yo ass tweaking. I remember that. So, yeah, much respect to him, you know. Like I said, maybe we'll sit down one day and talk about this shit. How about that? Y'all ass be tweaking, bro. It's been another live stream. Roll up a power. So get your blunts, raw, and your trade for it.